Do electric cars work in the winter? The first time I drove an electric car in the middle of a snowy winter, I wasn't sure what to expect. Would the battery drain in minutes? Would the heater even work? Like many drivers, I had doubts. The truth is, do electric cars work in the winter? Yes, they do. But not without a few adjustments and things you should know beforehand. Winter driving in an EV is a different experience compared to a gas-powered car. But once you understand the mechanics, it becomes less of a concern and more of a learning curve. Let's break down what actually happens when temperatures drop and how electric cars hold up in real-world cold weather conditions. How do electric cars work in the winter? When temperatures dip below freezing, two main issues come into play for EVs: battery chemistry and energy use. Battery performance. EV batteries rely on chemical reactions to store and release energy. In cold weather, these reactions slow down, which means reduced efficiency and shorter driving range. Heating demands. Unlike gas cars that use waste heat from the engine, electric cars need to generate heat separately, usually through resistive heaters or heat pumps. This pulls extra power from the battery. Charging speed. Charging can take longer in the cold because lithium-ion batteries prefer moderate temperatures. Fast charging a freezing battery isn't ideal. So many EVs have built-in systems that warm up the battery before charging. So, the short answer to how do electric cars work in the winter? They still function reliably, but range and charging times can be affected. Real-world range loss in winter. When I drove a Tesla Model 3 during a week of below-zero mornings, I noticed around a 20–25% drop in range. That's pretty consistent with studies. According to the ALA, EVs can lose about 41% of range when temperatures drop to 20 degrees by 6 degrees C, and the heater is in use. Here's a quick breakdown. Temperature expected range loss notes: 32 degrees W, 0 degrees C, 10 to 15%. Minor impact: 20 degrees off, 6 degrees C, 20 to 30%. Significant if using heater below 0 degrees, 30–40% strong impact. Slower charging. Do electric cars start in cold weather? Yes. In fact, EVs start more reliably than many gas cars in freezing temperatures because there's no oil to thicken or engine to crank. Press the button, and it's ready to go. The only catch is that preconditioning, warming the battery and cabin while plugged in, makes a big difference. Common concerns about EVs in winter. 1. Will the battery freeze? Not really. EV batteries have thermal management systems to keep them in a safe temperature range. 2. What about traction in snow? Many EVs offer all-wheel drive and instant torque, which actually helps in slippery conditions. Paired with winter tires, they handle snow surprisingly well. 3. Do charging stations work in the cold? Yes, but charging times can be slower. Some public chargers even have heated cables to help in extreme climates. Tips for driving an EV in winter. Based on my own experiences and advice from EV owners, here are the best ways to manage winter driving. Precondition the car. Warm up the cabin and battery while still plugged in. Use heated seats and steering wheel. These use less energy than blasting the heater. Plan charging. Stops. Cold weather can extend charging times, so factor that in. Keep the battery charged. Aim to stay above 20% in case charging stations are slower. Winter tires matter. Traction is more important than battery size in snow. Are electric cars practical for cold climates? Absolutely. I live in a region where winters stretch for months, and I've found that once you adapt, EVs are not only practical, but convenient. No oil changes, no gas station stops, and instant heating if you precondition. That said, if you regularly drive long distances in sub-zero conditions without reliable charging, a plug-in hybrid or gas backup may still be more practical for now. If you're weighing, do electric cars work in the winter against traditional gas vehicles? This table gives a clear picture. Gas cars are still more forgiving in extreme cold when it comes to range and refueling speed, but EVs have the edge in reliability and low maintenance. EVs versus gas cars in winter, side-by-side comparison. Feature electric cars, EVs, gas-powered cars, starting in cold weather. Start instantly. No engine cranking or oil issues can struggle to start if battery or oil is affected by cold cabin heating. Heats up quickly, but drains battery. Uses engine waste heat. Doesn't impact fuel efficiency much. Range fuel efficiency. Range drops by 20–40% in freezing temps. Fuel economy drops by 10–20% in winter. Refueling charging is slower in cold. Requires planning. Refueling speed unchanged. Traction in snow. Instant torque. Great with AWD plus winter tires. Depends on drivetrain, similar with AWD and snow tires. Maintenance. No oil changes, fewer moving parts, requires regular maintenance. Oil, fluids, filters. Cold weather adaptation, preconditioning and thermal management systems help. Block heaters or battery warmers sometimes required. Takeaway. So, do electric cars work in the winter? Yes, they do. The cold reduces range and slows charging, but with preconditioning, smart charging habits, and winter tires, EVs perform well, even in snowy climates. After driving EVs through multiple winters, I can confidently say, they're not only functional, but surprisingly reliable, once you know what to expect. If you're considering making the switch, don't let the snow stop you. Just prepare like you would with any car. Frequently asked questions about EVs in winter. Q1. Do electric cars lose range in the winter? Yes, EVs can lose 20–40% of their range in cold weather because batteries are less efficient and heating systems use extra power. Q2. How do electric cars work in the winter? They function normally, but charging may take longer, and range drops compared to mild weather. Preconditioning the battery helps maintain performance. Q3. Do electric cars start in freezing temperatures? Yes. EVs start reliably in the cold because they don't rely on oil or fuel combustion. Most have thermal management systems to protect the battery. Q4. Are electric cars good for snowy roads? With winter tires and ideally all-wheel drive, EVs perform very well in snow thanks to instant torque and traction control. Q5. How can I improve EV performance in the winter? Precondition your EV while it's plugged in, use heated seats instead of blasting the heater, and keep the battery charged above 20% in freezing conditions. Winter EV checklist. Drive smart in the cold. Before heading out on a snowy morning, run through this quick list to keep your EV running smoothly. Precondition the battery and cabin while plugged in. Rely on heated seats and steering wheel instead of blasting the heater. Install proper winter tires for better traction. Expect 20–40% range loss in freezing weather. Plan your trips. Keep charge above 20% in case charging stations are slower. Allow extra time for charging stops on road trips. Clear ice and snow from charging ports before plugging in. Check tire pressure regularly. Cold temps lower PSI. Final thoughts. Do electric cars work in the winter? After driving through snowstorms, icy mornings, and weeks of sub-zero temperatures, I can say with confidence that electric cars do work in the winter. The key is knowing what to expect. A bit of range loss, slower charging, and the need to precondition your vehicle before heading out. But in exchange, you get instant starts on freezing mornings, quiet drives, and far less maintenance than a gas car. For most daily driving needs, an EV is more than capable, even when the weather turns harsh. If you're still exploring whether an EV fits your lifestyle, I recommend checking out our guide on cost to install EV charging station, and our deep dive into best small sports cars for readers comparing all types of vehicles. At the end of the day, winter shouldn't scare you away from going electric. It should just prepare you to drive smarter.